Hello guys, Jai Shri Ram. You must have seen a lot of movies or a lot of web series made on this topic, Balakot airstrike. Why is this series different? Why is Ranneeti different? Because Ranneeti covers the CRPF jawans getting died in the Pulwama attack and our airstrike within the very first two episodes. The remaining seven episodes that follow is about Ranneeti, that is strategy of ISI, that is Pakistan, and also the Ranneeti of India, so as to save our Abhinandan pilot. Then whatever media campaign happens, Pakistan kept on saying that the attacks never happened. We kept on saying, yeah, they did happen. We killed so many terrorists and all. And then how we tried to prove that F-16 was actually shot down using MiG-21 Bison, a 50 years old plane which Abhinandan was flying. And then it was really difficult for India to do all these things. Even under the cover, US also got involved because Lockheed Martin company, the manufacturer of F-16, was involved, and that's why even US tried to favor Pakistan, but then it was Donald Trump at that time. So we had a diplomatic pressure created on Pakistan, on US, and Pentagon, distanced itself from an article written by an American journalist saying that the number of F-16s with Pakistan is unchanged, and that's why if no F-16 was taken down, then what is India talking about? So it was meant to damage our credibility, but thankfully under Trump era, the Pentagon distance itself from that reporter who claimed this, and that is how our credibility was retained in the international market. Also, what happened in FATF, we basically tried to prove, and we were successful in proving it to FATF, that Pakistan is a terrorist kind of a nation. It's a terroristan in reality. So FATF is an organization which takes financial action against the countries involved in terrorism, or against money laundering, or against nuclear proliferation. So we proved it beyond doubt that Pakistan is involved in a lot of terrorist activities, and that is why Pakistan could be sent into the grey list of FATF for complete 4 years. It was a huge achievement by Modi Sarkar, or I can say it's a huge achievement of India, which is very much felicitated in this particular web series. In fact, about FATF, the last two episodes are only about FATF. So stay tuned. I'll tell you each and everything about this web series. First, we will start with my rating. So my rating for this web series is a complete 100% rating, 10 out of 10. I have never given this kind of a rating to any web series or movie before this. I am giving it because I feel there is 100% correctness in the historical accounts. Action is very well shown. Action is shown in such a nice way that there is even a single shot action scene taken where the raw agents are fleeing the terrorists and terrorists are chasing them. It is taken in a single shot, or at least that technology is used which makes you feel that it is taken in a single shot. It is very, very nicely done. It is as nicely done as you will see in many Hollywood movies. You will see a single cut action scene. Similar kind of a scene is used, and not in a movie, it's used in a web series. I really love to see that. Strategy was very well shown, because very few movies actually focus upon the strategy. Most of the movies that you'll see on Balakot, they start with the CRPF jawans getting martyred in the terrorist attack at Pathankot, and then India avenging it using the airstrike in Balakot. It ends over there. It never talks about all the strategy that followed after that, and this movie is more about that strategy, that Ranneeti, and that's why the strategy is shown very well. It is point on. I'll give it 10 out of 10. Character building is very well done. Jimmy Shergill's character is an ex-raw officer who has lost his sense of taste and sense of smell due to immense pressure upon him, due to stress. And then this guy keeps on smelling kapoor, that is camphor, all the time, so as to bring back his sense of smell. And he tries to eat khichdi all the time instead of spicy food, so that he doesn't burn his tongue, because he won't be able to tell, because he's not able to sense the taste of food. So that kind of a character, it was a difficult character to play. Most of the scenes of Jimmy Shergill are in a very serious tone, He has a very poker kind of a face. He played the entire web series in a poker face, and yet he is able to convey his sentiments spot on to the audience. And that's why I think it was a difficult role for Jimmy Shergill to play, and he played it fantastically. All the other characters were also great, like Ashish Vidyarthi. He is the he is the NSA, that is Ajit Dobhal. Ashutosh Rana, he is the ISI chief, and Lara Datta is the media advisor of India. She creates a PR campaign in favor of Abhinandan, and she could successfully bring Abhinandan back. She could successfully create a wave for Abhinandan, not only in India but also in throughout the world, including Muslim countries, including Pakistan. Even in Pakistan, people started saying that Abhinandan should be returned. He has no fault. He was just working for his government. Abhinandan should be returned. So that thing, the real, people are always behind the curtain. Ajit Doval is always behind the curtain. Raw agents are always behind the curtain. And Lara Datta or this kind of media advisors of the government are also always behind the curtain. But their life is very well shown in this particular movie. Her acting is also tremendously good. She was working with veteran actors like Ashish Vidyarthi, Ashutosh Rana, and a new age actor like Jimmy Shergill. But still, I would say she played her part really well. Actually, Jimmy Shergill and Lara Datta must be in their 50s only. Both of them must be of the same age. They played their roles very well. Besides, their characters were also middle aged, and that's why their age did not come in the way of their acting. And that also must have helped the script in certain way. Dialogues are fantastic. I'll tell you one dialogue in it, where in the FATF, courtroom, uh, everyone has left. Only Jimmy Shergill and Ashutosh Rana are there. So Jimmy Shergill gives a taunt to Ashutosh Rana and says that, जब हमारा सचिन तेंदुलकर बाउंड्री मारता है, तब आपका प्रधानमंत्री भागकर उसका बॉल पकड़ने जाता है, right? So it was meant for Imran Khan. Imran Khan was the Prime Minister of Pakistan at that time, and Imran Khan, as you know, is an ex-cricketer, and that's why this pun was intended. I'm very pleased to see that now finally Bollywood, or you can say our Indian web series, they are thinking and writing dialogues. Okay, these dialogues are not like Adipurush. These dialogues are not badly written dialogues. These are very intelligently written dialogues. All the dialogues are really good. Suppose there is a dialogue from Ashutosh Rana. So Ashutosh Rana is the ISI chief, right? So this guy will use Urdu Mishrit Hindi. He'll have a Pathani, dialect to it, or maybe Punjabi Pakistani dialect to it. He will speak in that tone. He'll use a shreddedness in his voice, whereas even the Indian people won't use Urdu words so much. But the raw agents working in Pakistan will also be using Urdu Mishrit Hindi. They will be speaking in the way Pakistanis normally tend to speak. And the code words that are used while the raw agents are conveying something to the NSA, or maybe the raw organization, you can say, stationed to their headquarters in Delhi. So the way they speak is माँ की तबीयत बड़ी नाजार है. माँ का मतलब है यानी अम्मी की तबीयत खराब है. अम्मी means motherland, that means India. So India is under threat. 150 मेहमानों का खाना बनाना है. 150 मेहमान means 150 terrorists are there in the can. So this is how the dialogues are really good, very well written, very cleverly written. That's why I've given 100 out of 100 for dialogues. Screenplay is very, very good because there is not a single dull moment in the entire web series. You will always be sitting on the edge of your seat if you're watching this particular web series. I did not get bored even for a moment. And this is because they have maintained a constant pressure in every single episode. In none of the episodes there is too much pressure, and in none of the episodes there is too little pressure. They have put a constant pressure, and that's why I like the screenplay a lot. Music is also good. There is one patriotic song after the Pulwama attack, when the entire country is mourning over the death of 40 brave CRPF soldiers. At that time, there is a very patriotic and emotional song which will definitely wet your eyes, or at least wet the corners of your eyes. I really liked it. It was very emotional. And then there is action based music. So whenever there is action, there is always a background music playing. It's very loud and intense, but for the dialogues it dampens down just for the dialogue, and then it resumes to its loudness. Direction is really good. See, this whole thing is possible only with good direction. In direction, there are two things. One is, how is your research? So the research is really good. I really appreciate the research. And second thing in direction is that how do you carry that story? So the story is carried on the shoulders of one character, and that is Jimmy Shergill. I told you during the review of this Ranchana, which movie it is, Razakar movie. I told you about Razakar movie that it the screenplay seems to be very choppy, because there is not a single character which carries forward through all these stories. But in this particular web series, you find such character, fictitious character called as Jimmy Shergill. So Jimmy Shergill actually carries the story of this web series on his shoulders. He is a fictitious character. Of course, everyone understands that it is a fictitious character, raw agent who eats khichdi and smells camphor all the time, because he has lost sense of smell and taste due to excessive stress. Very fictitious character, but you get connected to this character. Okay, and then you see that he had some relationship, some romantic relationship in the past with Lara Datta, and when they start working together, then what happens? So you have some emotional connect with this character. So through all the episodes, it is the story of Jimmy Shergill that progresses, and that's why you're more interested in seeing it. That what will Jimmy Shergill do now? What will he do now? Oh, what will he? How will he? Fight the case in FATF? You watch that for Jimmy Shergill, and this is an excellent thing. And that's why this is the second thing that I liked about direction, and that's why I say research is good in direction, and second is storytelling is good in direction, and that's why I've given 10 on 10 for the direction. And finally, this criteria I've never used in my reviews so far, but this cinema is a world class cinema. This is an RRR class cinema. This is the cinema that will proudly say that this is the kind of cinema that is made in India. So if this is our standard in web series, then you can imagine what will be our standard in movie making. So I really appreciate that it is a world class cinema without any doubts. Okay, and that's why my rating is 10 out of 10. Of course, at a few places I've reduced the rating. Here I have reduced the rating because I did not. I felt that some of the fun that was put, or some of the jokes that were put around the khichdi, were excessive, they were unnecessary. It felt like they were artificially put in the story. So that's what I didn't like. That's why one mark is reduced. Acting wise, everyone's acting was really good, but Hafiz Saeed acting during the action scenes was not very good. When the raw agent punches him, he takes two gulatis and he falls down somewhere. So that's not a very good acting. I didn't like it so much. So only for that one character I reduced one mark, but otherwise everyone else's acting is spot on. The raw agent also, the lady raw agent who fights, she is fantastic, fabulous into acting, and fabulous in action scenes as well. So everyone's acting is good except that one person. That's why I cut one mark. But in spite of all this, I'll still give it a 10 on 10 rating because it does deserve it. Now let us start with the points that make this series awesome. First of all, every episode except the last two episodes are absolutely fact based. I've already said this. I cannot understand, or I cannot cross check what happened in the close room conversation during the FATF court hearing. There is nothing given in the public domain. Okay, so I cannot cross check the last two episodes, but all the other episodes I can very well cross check. All these things really happened. The media campaign also I can understand very well. This is exactly what was happening. Pakistan was doubting the airstrike. They were saying that we never used F-16s, and so what is India saying? The F-16 was, F-16 was down. This is absolute farce. And then we had to give the proofs, or we had to give, statements from our Air Force people, and then the country had to decide between the two. That whom will you, put your trust upon? Your own military, your own Air Force, or on Pakistan? And unfortunately, many of our opposition leaders favored Pakistan at that time and questioned Modi government. That part is not shown in this web series. What our opposition did, that was not shown in this movie for good. And that actually makes the series a little better, because this is not a propaganda film. This shows India as one entity. It does not show the fissures within Indian society. It doesn't show that certain opposition parties will question the ruling government itself, that did you really do the airstrikes. That is not very well shown, or it is not stressed upon in this particular web series, which is a good idea. It makes this web series a little better. Besides, the role of Modi, role of Ajit Doval is lesser than Jimmy Shergill's role. So it is not a propaganda film. It does not speak about Modi, it does not speak about BJP, it does not speak about a particular ideology. It treats Modi, or he, even the word Modi is not used. He treats the it treats the prime minister as a prime minister, a Samvidhanik pad. That's it, a parliamentary post. Okay, it treats the NSA as a parliamentary post. That's it. It is not treated as some ideology. This is the guy who is taking India ahead. Nothing of that sort. All the credit is given to the people behind the curtain, like NSA, people behind the curtain, like the raw agents. Raw agents means not just Jimmy Shergill, but also the two raw agents which were shown in Pakistan, who actually enable this whole airstrike to happen. So that's why I really liked this particular web series. Research is awesome, as I told you. Attention to detail is very impressive, like military insignia, etiquette, body language is very well documented. Military insignia means what? Air Force logo will be there, right? So that logo is very correctly there, and none of the logos is copied from the actual logo. Okay, they created their own logos, but very well created, and they copied that logo everywhere then. Okay, which is great. So insignia was respected. Etiquette, etiquette means, let us say Imran Khan, who was the then PM of Pakistan, when he would enter into a war room, then everyone else would stand up. First of all, everyone will be present there before the PM. Okay, because PM's time is more important than everybody else's time. Okay, so that is a part of etiquette. All of them would rise as soon as PM enters the room, and they will keep standing till the PM sits in his chair. Okay, so that etiquette is very well shown. Then the body language. So Imran Khan's way of talking to Xi Jinping was a little submissive. Then when he was speaking to the Chinese ambassador, then it was like a level playing field. And when he was speaking to within his war room to his own people, the Pakistani people, then he would be in an authoritarian tone. So he would speak like a badshah. Okay, so that transition is very well carried, and not just with Imran Khan's character, but in everybody's character. You see the demeanor of Hafiz Saeed. It is very well copied. You see the demeanor of this Ajit Dobhal. Ajit Dobhal was not very well played during Uri movie. I feel that in Uri movie, Ajit Dobhal was not very well played. Modi ji is not played well in any of the movies. Okay, in Uri also Modi ji was not. But in this particular web series, Modi's character, Ajit Dobhal's character, Hafiz Saeed's character, ISI chief, how would that person be? All those characters are very well played. Their body languages were very well played. Like for example, in a scene, the CRPF Jawans, one of the CRPF Jawans, Chita was burning, and Ajit Dobhal and this Jimmy Shergill are talking. Jimmy Shergill says कि we need to avenge this attack, and Ajit Dobhal can feel the fire in his heart, and he says to him that ये आग सिर्फ हमें, जो आग हमें जला सकती है, वो आग इन्हें भी जला सकती है, और अब हम पाकिस्तानियों को ये दिखा देंगे, कल मेरे ऑफिस में आकर मिलना. So within a sentence he says कि कल ऑफिस में आकर मिलना. That one sentence was kind of a job application accepted. You can work with me. Everything is said in one sentence. Kal aake milo. That is how precise the dialogues are. That is how the body language, the way his body language was at that time. That you could feel both of them burning from within. They were all having anger and sorrow at the same time. And besides, Jimmy Shergill could not show many dialogues, show many expressions, because he had a poker face. That was the kind of character he was playing. He played the character really well. Ajit Doval's character was also played really well in this movie. Ashish Vidyarthi, a veteran actor, has shown what he is made of. He has shown the metal that he has in him. So very well. I loved all these things about this web series, and that is what makes it awesome. Unnecessary jokes were avoided, but as I said, a few jokes around Khichadi were there. They seem to be forcefully put into the script. They were not required, but still, it's okay. We can neglect them. But definitely, it is not like Family Man. In Family Man, there was 50% jokes and 50% actual action. Here, there is all action. One or two jokes are there in between. They also feel very forceful. I did not appreciate it. I did not like it. But yeah, they are there. I don't know why they put them. They could have made a series just like Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne series are always without any jokes, without any humor. They are spot on action and the real strategy that is going on. They will start with a very small topic, and then you will start understanding more and more about it. You'll go through the rabbit hole, and towards the end of it, there is always a happy surprise for you that finally the people force the government to change these particular rules, and everything good happened at the end. This series should also have been made like that. That happy ending was Pakistan getting grey listed in FATF, but and all this rabbit hole should be like that. So this is exactly how the series is. But then some forcefully entered jokes were put. It was absolutely unnecessary. Otherwise, as I've said in the title slide also, I feel this is the Indian version of Jason Bourne. This is a great series. Please do watch it. Pakistan is also shown as a formidable force, yeah, and that also makes this series awesome. See, in many movies, we tend to show Pakistan as a bunch of idiots, but that was not true at that time. Today, after FATF, grey listing, and after they lost so much of foreign investment, and now their economy is in shambles. So today, when you look at Pakistan, you must be feeling that Pakistan, yeah, it's not even a force against us. We don't even consider it to be worthy opponent. But at that time, it was more than a worthy opponent. It was a pain in our ass at that time. It was Modi's first term, first tenure. During that tenure, you will see there was Nawaz Sharif, with whom Prime Minister Modi tried to extend his hand of friendship. But Nawaz Sharif also, being a Pakistani, or probably Nawaz Sharif was a little overridden by the military or the mullahs of Pakistan, and he could not do much for India-Pakistan friendship. But thank God, Modi's eyes opened at the time of Imran Khan, especially after this Pulwama attack. And then after that, Modi did not spare Pakistan. Even in one instance, Modi did not spare Pakistan. And that is great. This is how we want our PM to be. Okay. So Pakistan, after that, it started, crumbling down. But before that, it was a very much formidable force. And that is what is shown in this particular web series, that Pakistan is as formidable as any other opposition to India. It's as formidable as China is. It is as much a threat as China is, which is what I really liked about this web series, and this is what makes it awesome. Hybrid warfare, that is narrative warfare in the media, is very well shown. As I told you, Lara Datta was a media advisor of India, and she tries to campaign in favor of Abhinandan, tries to create a soft corner for Abhinandan in the hearts of people, not only in India but also abroad. This was very well shown in this particular movie. It is one of the most exciting parts of this, web series. This is one of the most exciting parts of this web series. Many people have appreciated it. Many other reviewers also appreciated it. I am also appreciating it. The title is absolutely appropriate because it talks about Ranneeti, that is strategy. It does not talk about Balakot airstrike. It says Balakot's airstrikes, of course, and what happened after that. So Balakot and beyond. Very correctly written tagline and also the tag phrase. Balakot, Ranneeti, Balakot and beyond. Very well given. Also, the decision to make it a web series is very good because it justifies the size of the content. A lot of things had to be shown, and a lot of these things people might not be aware of, and so they had to be shown. And that's why it's a good decision to make it into a web series instead of a movie. So that's what makes it awesome. Now we will see why it is a well-made series. So we'll see more technically, cinematically, and emotionally how this is a well-made series. Intro at the beginning of every episode sets the tone really well. So there is a 5 minutes intro at the beginning of every episode, and it is so capturing that it sets the tone for the entire episode. You watch the entire episode due to that intro. So it is a very good technique. This is why intros are there in place. Very well done. Then the promo is kept very short. This is a new thing. This is a novelty that I saw in this web series. In many other web series like Family Man, the promo is very long. You can, brew a coffee and come back to your seat. That much time is there in the promo. But here the promo is really short and sweet. It is just for 15 seconds. It's only to flash the name of the web series. That's it, so that you don't you remember which web series it is, just so that you don't forget what web series you're watching. They just promote the name of the web series. It just appears for 15 seconds. Very, very nicely, sleekly done promo. And I feel it should become a trend going forward. All the other web series should also follow the trend. uh, I mean, all the other web series should follow the suit so as to make it a trend. Every episode ends with a compelling teaser. This is also very great. The teaser actually increases the inquisitiveness into you, and that's the reason why you see the next episode, and the next episode's promo sets the tone. So due to this cycle, you would end up seeing the entire series within a day. Okay, otherwise, you would watch it in episodes, right? So this teaser and this intro, this actually sets a chain of cycles, due to which you see the entire series of 9 episodes in a single go. Background music is loud and impactful, but it dampens down to accommodate dialogues. Very well done. So you enjoy the music as well as the dialogues, which is very well done. All the dialogues are very well written and well executed, but pronunciation of few English dialogues by Indian actors is unclear. I'll give an example. There is a dialogue where Ashutosh Rana says to an American journalist that he puts a bag full of American currency in front of her, and puts a gun on top of it, and then he says, "आपको F-16 आगे दिख रहा है? This is your F-16." Uh, and then the dialogue which I'm talking about is, "Isn't it amazing? Isn't it an amazing plane?" That dialogue is not very clear. Partly because there is always a background music playing, even though it is damped down, but it is playing even during the dialogue. So that makes it a little unclear. And besides, I feel the pronunciation was not very clear. See, whenever an Indian actor or any Indian person, even like me, when we try to speak English, we are not native speakers, right? So our pronunciation is anyways not up to the mark. Even my pronunciation is not up to the mark, and that's the reason why I try to make videos in English, so that my fluency increases. So the problem with non-native speakers like us is that our pronunciation is, first of all, not up to the mark, and then we sometimes speak in our mouth. We don't open our mouth. My principal in my school always used to say that open your mouth while you speak. But yeah, that is a problem with most of the non-native speakers. We don't tend to open our mouth as loud. We speak within the mouth, and that's why the words all get garbled. You don't understand whatever is being said. So I think that was a problem with few English dialogues, but Hindi dialogues are absolutely clear. All these are veteran actors, including Jimmy Shergill. I think Jimmy Shergill is anyways 50 years old, so I can call him a veteran actor now. Uh, all of them are veteran actors in Hindi, so their dialogue delivery in Hindi is flawless. But in certain English dialogues, I think they spoke within their mouth. They should have opened their mouth better, or at least the director should have taken a retake. Character of Jimmy Shergill, although fictitious, connects with the audience, and that's why it is very well technically made web series. As I said earlier, Razakar did not have such a character which would bind the audience throughout all the scenes, but here we have one, and that's why the audience stays engaged throughout the web series. Finally, what is unique about this web series? Why should you go and watch this web series? And what is it that you will not find in any other web series or any other movie made on this topic? First of all, many movies and web series are made on Balakot airstrikes, but they end at Balakot airstrike. This web series begins with Balakot airstrike. So it talks about what happened during Balakot airstrike and what happened beyond that. So that is the main thing. It also focuses upon the raw operations, which are usually behind the curtain. You never understand about them, you never come to know about them, because they are never in the public domain. So if you are an enthusiast, if you want to know how raw functions, if you want to know how different countries function diplomatically, and then if you want to know how is this media warfare fought, all this masala is there in this particular web series. And this masala is very much backed with the real evidence, real events that had happened. So it is not a fictitious story, also it is based on real events. Of course, in the disclaimer you'll find that it is a fictitious story made based on real events. But from episode 1 to episode 7, you will also understand that all these are actually spot on facts. Of course, they have changed names. They have said they have used SX-16 word instead of F-16 fighter. So instead of F-16, they are calling SX-16. Instead of calling it FATF, they are calling FATC. Instead of calling MiG-21 Bison, they are calling it as M21. Even if you neglect all these things, then also you understand the whole story. Even if they call it as FATC, you understand it is FATF only, right? And that's why it is very much fact based. The research is very well done, media warfare is very well shown. Okay, the web series is a serious drama like Bone trilogy. Still, a few unnecessary jokes. I'm mentioning it again and again that these unnecessary jokes really turned me off while watching this particular web series. But otherwise, it was very much like the Bond trilogy, the Bond series kind of movies. Very well done. There is no Indian movie or web series like Jason Bourne series so far, and that is why it makes it very much unique. And then that single shot scene that I talked about, this is also great. There is no web series or no Indian movie in which such a web scene, such a single shot action scene was shown. Even in American web series, I have not found this kind of an experiment being done. I have seen it in a lot of Hollywood movies, like Extraction was a movie by Chris Hemsworth. So that movie had a single shot action, had many single shot action scenes, but I did not see it in any web series, even American web series. And in India, I never saw it in any movie or any web series. So this makes this web series very much unique. Now, finally, I'll speak about the awesome cast that this web series has. Jimmy Shergill as Kashyap, an ex-raw agent with a traumatic past, is played awesomely, very well done. Ashish Vidyarthi, a veteran actor, of course, he played the role of Ajit Doval very well. It is not like the Ajit Doval played in Uri. This one is played really well. See, there are small little things like when you're NSA of a country, you won't you won't be submissive too much. Okay, even while you're speaking with foreign people like Chinese ambassador, you won't be very submissive. You will speak to the point, but at the same time you have some amount of finesse into them. You won't say ki China teri to aise le lunga. That's not the language an NSA would use. He'll have a finesse, but he'll also be upright. He will not bend. Okay, he'll convey his sentiments within the least amount of words and the most diplomatically. It was very well done by Mr. Ashish Vidyarthi. Of course, the dialogue writing was good, direction was good, that's why he could play it out. So very well done. Ashish Vidyarthi's role is really good, and Ajit Doval, the real Ajit Doval, must also be thinking, yeah, पहली बार किसी ने अच्छा acting किया है मेरा. But otherwise, you see any other nationalist movie, Ajit Doval's role is not played very well. But in this movie, in this web series, it is played spot on. Ajit Doval must also be saying कि भाई सही बोला है, सही पकड़ा है. This is the way diplomatic conversations happen. Or when you speak to your own raw agent, then the precise language within which you convey the information, that is very well shown. Ashish Vidyarthi was a correct choice for cast in that particular role. Lara Datta. Lara Datta is a forgotten actress, you can say. People don't remember Lara Datta. Lara Datta has always been a great actress. Unfortunately, this Kabal wood, this Bollywood, this Karachi wood never gave her that identity which she very well deserved. So this web series at least gives her that identity which she deserves. This web series does not show women as objects. It does not objectify the women. It shows their strength. It shows them as equals, which is what I really liked about this particular web series. Lara Datta's role is as crucial as the role of Jimmy Shergill. Okay, maybe a little less, but almost cut to cut, which is great about this. This web series is not just about a male actor, it is also about a female actress who actually compensates, or wherever he is not there, like he is not very good at talking to the public, she, or making a narrative in the public, she fills in that gap, so they complete each other. And their personal chemistry was also very well shown. And Jimmy Shergill and Lara Datta never get into an affair, like in Family Man. You feel like, okay, Manoj Bajpayee and that other person, the raw agent, they are into a love affair, they reinitiate their love affair, and then his wife is having a love affair with somebody else. That is not shown over here. Jimmy Shergill was always committed to his wife. Lara Datta never came in between him and his wife. Never, never. But there was still a chemistry. And that chemistry is very well shown. There is a scene in this where I think just after the airstrikes, Lara Datta comes to embrace Jimmy Shergill, forgetting the fact that now Jimmy Shergill is married and everything. And then immediately, just before they are about to hug each other, Lara Datta distances herself, and then they do like this. This is the amount of touch they do to each other. I felt that was really cute. This is the way this chemistry had to be shown in some movie or some web series. It is being shown for the very first time in this movie or this web series. Very well done. It had to be shown. It's part of a reality, and we never show it on camera. It is shown very well over here. Ashutosh Rana's character is also awesome. See, I'll always say, uh, whenever there is an action movie, especially between India and Pakistan, if the Pakistani fraction is not shown as formidable as uh, you know as we would imagine any of our adversaries to be, then the drama doesn't play very well. It doesn't open up to the audiences very well. I'll give you an example. There's a movie of Shah Rukh Khan, Pathan. In Pathan, Shah Rukh's character is great, but as big as Shah Rukh's character is, there is one more adversary, which is John Abraham's character. And John Abraham's character is a little taller, a little better, a little stronger, you can say, than Shah Rukh Khan's character. And that's why Pathan movie was a success. We feel like the hero as well as the villain, they carry the movie ahead on their shoulders. Okay, both of them have to do this. Here, Jimmy Shergill, his character is strong. We love this character. Okay, there is a lot of empathy that is created for this character. At the same time, there is a bigger character, a bigger enemy, a stronger enemy in the form of Ashutosh Rana, and that's why it. There's always an angle of David and Goliath. So David is a good person, kind-hearted, in favor of people, and then there is Goliath, which is anti-people. Which is strong but very, very cruel, you can say. He's killing people and all, and this David, a small guy, he stands against the Goliath, and he takes down Goliath with his wisdom, with all the goodness in his heart. This is the kind of story people like to listen to, people like to hear. In every movie, this is mainly what the storyline is, and that's why they become famous. That's why these movies run. Like in Pathan, also, this was the story. Shah Rukh Khan was a little weaker as compared to John O'Brien. That's why that story was successful. Here also, Jimmy Shergill was a little weaker than Ashutosh Rana, and that's why this story is successful. Okay. Of course, Ashutosh Rana played his role really well. He's shown to be very hawkish. Okay, he has his eyes everywhere, and a lot of micromanagement. He manages his countrymen as if they are his subjects. Okay, clever. Okay, he's clever. You cannot fool this guy. You cannot, it is very difficult to evade his notice. But he's extremely brutal. There is a dialogue in this web series at the end, during that FATF courtroom only, during that last, when everyone has left, and Ashutosh Rana and Jimmy Shergill are having a jibe on each other. At that time, Ashutosh Rana says, Jimmy Shergill says that, you should be ashamed of yourself. You kill your own citizens for your military operations and all these things. So you should be ashamed of yourselves. They are innocent people. Ashutosh Rana says, and this shows his brutality. Ashutosh Rana says, whom are you calling innocent? Look at the faces of the same citizens during riots. They are nothing but innocent. I mean, they are anything but innocent. So this shows his brutality, and this also shows the real face of Pakistan. Countries like Pakistan, China, they use their citizens. Uh, Even if they die, they don't care so much. China is not all that bad with respect to empathy for citizens. They at least care a little bit about citizens. But Pakistan, Pakistan considers citizens like subjects. As if you're ruling, you're some kind of a badshah, and these are all your subjects. They are meant to die. These are patient peasants. You kill them. Oh. That is the kind of attitude that Pakistanis have towards their citizens, and that's why Modi ji many a times tried to appeal their citizens, because Modi knows that the citizens are more victim of the Pakistani, whatever you say, the state, you can say, they are the victims of the Pakistan state. So we try to reach out their citizens as well, and that is very well shown by Ashutosh Rana, how brutal the ISI is over there. Prasanna plays the role of Abhinandan very, very convincingly. You will see his body language, his expressions, his fearlessness. It was very well shown by Prasanna. Very, very well done. I have shown him in a little lesser font because I think these are the fantastic fours who, who are the most important characters, or who have the most amount of screen time. But Prasanna has also played his part really well, and all the others that I'll mention on this slide have also played their part really well. So it's not that I wanted to fit everything in one slide. That's also the reason why their font was reduced. Otherwise, they have played their respective parts really well. Then there is Elnaz Narozi and Satyajit Dubey. Pardon my pronunciation. Elnaz is a fantastic actress. We have got a gem. I think she should also get an entry into Bollywood. She has shown her mettle in this particular web series. Amazing. She is good not only with acting and dialogue delivery, but also with action scenes. You will remember, in Indian movies, normally females started being shown in the roop of Durga, the kind of, their, uh, fighting spirit was shown very recently. Okay, in the last decade, you can say, we have started seeing women in, combatant role. And it is a reality. Actually, women are that combatant, and they are the roop of Ma Durga. They are the roop of Ma Shakti, means Ma Durga only. Shakti is one name. So it's a very good change. It's a welcome change in Bollywood. And in this web series also, Elnaz is shown into that roop of Ma Durga, the Shakti roop, where she fights as a raw agent. Her fighting is really good. She finally saves the life of this Satyajit Dubey also. Satyajit Dubey is also shown to be a raw agent. Both of these are undercover raw agents working in Pakistan. Uh, but Satyajit is more on the technological side, so he's kind of a techie. He's also good. He's also intelligent, everything, but he's more of a techie. And Elnaz Narozi is more like the mind and the muscle behind the scene. So she is wittier than Satyajit, and she is also more muscular as compared to Satyajit. More muscular means she is better at taking down the. She is better at, first of all, identifying who is against you. Okay, who is who is on the Pakistani side. Okay, and taking them down. There is a scene in this web series where Satyajit Dubey and Elnaz Narozi have fled from the terrorists, and they come to a safe house, and then there is one helper over there who serves them biryani. Elna says कि आप बिरयानी खाओ दोनों और मैं आती हूँ 2 मिनट में, as if indicating that she was going to the washroom. She tries to close the door. This Satyajit Dubey only picks up one morsel of biryani, and even before he could put it in his mouth, that helper who was sitting beside him, he is killed. His neck is rotated and he is killed by Elnaz Narozi. And then she says that He was the mole in us, and he was conveying all our information to Pakistan. So she is the real mind. She is clever, more clever as compared to Satyajit, and she is also more powerful as compared to Satyajit as a raw agent. And then ultimately she sacrifices her life uh, to save Satyajit Dubey's life. So a very well played character. First of all, the character is written very well. Writing is good. All the dialogues are good. Action scenes are good. But it is also acted very well. So Elnaz Narozi is a very fine actress. She should get more roles like this. Then there is Umar Sharif, who played the role of Hafiz Saeed. He is also okay, but in close-up shots. He is the guy, when Elnaz punches this Hafiz Saeed, that is Umar Sharif, then he took two somersaults and then he fell. It looked very very artificial, very played out, very choreographed kind of a fight. And it was not due to Elnaz. Elnaz was fighting really well. It was due to Umar Sharif. So Umar Sharif, even when you put him into other people's frame, he damages their frame also. So he is an absolute no go. I don't want to see Umar Sharif in the upcoming web series or Bollywood movies. Uh, he's not a very good actor. His close-up shots are okay. I'll even call them good. As you can see, they are okay, they are good. But there was very little to act in that. It was more about the makeup. The makeup artist was good. Okay, you feel like he is Hafiz Saeed. But acting wise, I don't see much of a caliber into Umar Sharif. So I don't want Umar Sharif to continue in our web series or in Bollywood movies. But Elnaz should definitely continue. She is the gem. She should get more and more acting roles. Finally, till here, I discussed about the web series. This is all that I have in my review. Now we will discuss the history, what actually happened during those days. See, whenever I make any review videos, I normally tend to speak about the history because एक बहाने से मुझे हिस्ट्री के ऊपर बात करने का मौका मिल जाता है. So that's what I want to do with this web series as well. I've given the review in the beginning. Now, whatever follows is the actual history, what happened. And if you don't know about this history, then you should definitely watch this web series, because this web series tells you everything about this history. Okay, so everything that follows after this is more about the history of India. Firstly, I'll tell you that Modi Sarkar has always avenged the terror attacks, and this is the undertone of this web series. Bharat jhukega nahi, ghar mein ghus ke marega. That is the tone of this web series. I'll give a few examples. They are not part of this web series, but I'll give a few examples. Like why can I say, how can I say that Modi Sarkar never bows down to terrorism? It always avenges terrorist attacks. So if you remember, there was a terrorist attack upon us in Manipur in 2015. It was avenged within a few months. Okay, so there are some separatists who always try to separate the seven sister states of northeast of India, and there is a lot of terrorist activities that they perform over there in various states. And whenever our military or our BSF it chases them, they cross the border and they go into Myanmar. But in 2015, it was Modi Sarkar. So Modi Sarkar did not bow down to them. Modi Sarkar conducted an action on them, of course, or they would flee into Myanmar. We did not stop at our border. We chased them into Myanmar and we killed 100 terrorists in this operation. So this operation was performed on the soil of Myanmar. This operation is called as Operation Hot Pursuit. So if you say which was the first surgical strike, I think this is the first surgical strike. But it was not even surgical. It was very well told. It was not under the cover. We followed them. They crossed the border. We also crossed the border behind them. Everyone knew about this. Myanmar government knew about this. And still Myanmar government till date denies this operation to have been performed on their soil, because they say that, oh, we don't have any terrorist camps. Myanmar is a Buddhist country. They are as kafir as you and me. I don't understand why certain Christian or Buddhist countries don't join hands with India and fight against radical Islamic terrorism. But after we correctly completed this operation, Myanmar never dared to support jihadis. You will never hear that there are terrorist camps in Myanmar and they are attacking people in Myanmar or some people in Manipur or something like that. Myanmar has taken strict action against terrorism. Why? Because they had to be shown once that if you don't take the action, we'll take it, and then it will be on your soil. Do whatever you can do. Okay, you can't damage us in any way. Okay, but we can damage you many folds. So stay within your limits. Don't harbor terrorists against us. We don't consider you to be an enemy. Feel good about that. So that message was very clearly given by Modi Sarkar. That's why I'll say Modi Sarkar never bows down to terrorism. Another instance is when there was an attack in Uri, we avenged it with the surgical strikes. So here also, unfortunately, 19 Indian soldiers were massacred by these bloody terrorists. And in a counter, surgical strike, we went into Pak-occupied Kashmir and we conducted this operation. 35 to 50 terrorists were killed. Again, here certain anti-national people like Congress and AAP, they questioned their own government that whether this surgical strike really took place or not. Finally, the Indian government had to release footage of the airstrike. There was a head cam uh, on every soldier's head, and that footage was released, and then these Congress and AAP people could be shut off. So again, an example that whenever there is any strike, any terrorist attack, we avenge it, and this was avenged within like what 11 days, within the same month. At least the previous attack we avenged after a few months, but this one we avenged within 11 days. Okay. And then the third example, which is also shown in this particular web series, is Pulwama attack. When Pulwama attack took place, 40 CRPF Jawans were massacred, and we did not take more than like how many days? We did not take more than a month to avenge it. And there was a lot of pressure from the people also on the government to avenge these attacks. And people knew that if you could conduct a surgical strike, they were demanding another surgical strike. But little did they know that this is not even a surgical strike. Now we'll have an air strike, and we won't have it in Pak occupied Kashmir, we will have it within the territory of Pakistan, actual territory of Pakistan, not Pak occupied Kashmir, in Pakistan. And it was really great. Kudos to Modi government at that time. And see, it did not even take 15 days. It didn't take it was just after 12 days, as you can see. So 11, 12 days. So same track record. Within 11 days, we avenged the Uri attacks with the surgical strikes, and within 12 days, we attacked Pulwama attack using the airstrikes. Very good by government of India. Now, all the spoilers for this web series will start from here. So those who don't want spoilers can stop watching here. In this, after this, I will explain everything given in this particular web series, whatever this web series talks about. So I will discuss minute details shown in Ranneeti web series. This slide is about Bahawalpur to Balakot. So there was a terrorist scam of Jaish-e-Mohammed at Bahawalpur, and why did they shift it to Balakot? That I will discuss in this particular slide. What is Jaish-e-Mohammed? Jaish-e-Mohammed is that dreaded terrorist organization which was responsible and took the ownership of Pulwama attacks, which killed our 40 Jawans. Okay, so this Jaish-e-Mohammed was responsible, and we actually punished Jaish-e-Mohammed only. Look at how it is done. So first of all, their camp was at Bahawalpur. So we were going to air attack on Bahawalpur. So what happened? First of all, CRPF Jawans were massacred. Our PM roared that Mother India shall avenge it, but we will avenge it at the time and place of our choosing. If you remember, Modi ji said this कि बदला जरूर लिया जाएगा, लेकिन कब और कैसे वो हमारी सेना डिसाइड करेगी. Then JEM moved their camp from Bahawalpur to Balakot. Why this was done? Because we kept on doing air drills. That means we kept on sending our aircrafts till the border, till the line of control, that is LOC. Just see, Bahawalpur is here. We used to send the aircrafts till the LOC. All of their radars used to catch our aircrafts, and they would be on high alert. But before they would take their jets out, we just touched the LOC and we used to come back. We did this many times, 5 6 days at a stretch. We kept on doing this. Okay, so this created a pressure upon Pakistan and upon these terrorists also, that okay, we have to run away from this center because there can be an airstrike at any time, and there is sufficient pressure built up by the Indian public on the Indian government, so that Indian government will actually carry out these attacks. So they got frightened, and that's why they shifted to Balakot. Otherwise, Bahawalpur was, their base earlier. Now, why did we do that? If we had to do an airstrike, we would have done it with an element of surprise. Why would you tell them so many times that, oh, I'll attack you, I'll attack you, every single day you used to tell them? Why? Because we never wanted to attack Bahawalpur. Why? Because Bahawalpur was a resident area. There were many civilian colonies over there, and they would all get hurt due to our terrorist attack. See, although India doesn't like terrorism, but we did not want to, hurt or punish their citizens. Modi ji has said this multiple times, that their citizens are as innocent as our citizens are, right? They are just citizens. We will never target them. And even after this airstrike also, we said it, उजळ माथ्याने आपण हे बोलू शकलो. We said this with, we hanging our heads tall. We said that, we did not hurt a single citizen during our airstrike. We did not hurt a single citizen during surgical strikes also. So that is the track record of India. And that's why we did not want to bomb Bahawalpur. We just wanted the terrorists to move their camp somewhere else. And as luck might have it, or as destiny favored us, and probably as we must have strategized, they moved their camp to Balakot. At Balakot, there was no civilian area around. It was all in the hills. So that's why Pakistan says na ki kuch ped gire aur kavve mare, because there was only ped and kavve over there. Okay, there was no civilian population, and they moved their camp over there, and that is where we actually conducted our airstrike. So this is one point that many of you might not be aware of. That's why I created one slide only on this, that what made the terrorists shift their camp from Bahawalpur to Balakot. Both of these things are in Pakistan. Both of these places are in Pakistan. Then in this slide, I'll discuss, as per the web series, the role of the undercover raw agents. So please understand this thing, that whenever an airstrike is conducted, that terrorist camp will also be having some radars who will be able to see, oh, is someone approaching us. So, and even Pakistan will be having their own SAM deployed. SAM means surface to air missiles. So SAMs would destroy our jets, right? So none of these SAMs got triggered, and even the radars of the Balakot terrorist camp could not capture our planes while they were coming for an airstrike. How would it happen? Right, their radars must be jammed by somebody, right? And that was done by our undercover raw agents. There was an undercover raw agent, actually two of them, because we always keep a redundancy. He told us about the shift of the JEM camp from Bahawalpur to Balakot. First of all, this intel reached us through our raw agent. So this raw agents, both these raw agents had infiltrated within JEM, within the terrorists. They used to function with the terrorists, okay, as an undercover agent. Means not actually, they were not working against India, but they became part of the terrorist organization so as to leak their news to us. Okay, and that's why we came to know that the terrorists are moving their camp from Bahawalpur to Balakot, much to our happiness. Actually, we wanted it. Then he purposefully forgot oscillators during the shift, which made their radars ineffective. It is shown in this web series that he forgets the oscillators. Oscillators are used to see those aircraft. The aircrafts are visible on that screen, right? That screen is called as oscillator. So he purposefully forgot oscillators in Bahawalpur only. And that's why on the night of the airstrike, This Balakot camp did not have oscillators. They could not know who is approaching them, or is anyone approaching them, and that's why they could be killed, because all of them had to be there in that house, right? Then you bomb it, then they'll die. If they would be spread across throughout the forest, you could not bomb them, right? It was impossible to bomb them in that case. So they had to stay in that house, and for that they should be unaware that there is an air attack happening. Then another thing is, he also jammed. He also jammed. Did I mention it? He also installed a jammer in the Balakot camp. So even Pakistan could not alert them that, there are some aircrafts coming your way. Pakistan could not alert them because there were jammers installed by this particular raw agent. Another thing is that these both these raw agents, under the pretext of retrieving those oscillators, they went out of that camp on the night of airstrike, and that's the reason why they did not come in the range of this airstrike. Okay, so they did not die. So how did their life get saved? They could have run away at that time, that is also possible, but their life was saved in this particular way, that they just stayed. They just said that, we'll get back the oscillators for you from Bahawalpur. So they were moving towards Bahawalpur, and that is when the airstrike happens. And third and important thing is that this is a very correct thing and very well shown in this web series. This means that the research of this web series is good. This means that whatever they have shown about Raw is absolutely correct or legitimate. It looks legitimate. That Raw will never have one agent doing certain work. Raw will always keep two agents at one place, and both of them won't know about each other. This is done so that, if one agent does something wrong, the other agent would organically tell you that something is wrong, something is happening, and then you will come to know if there is a mole in the organization. Okay, and similarly, the other agent will be telling, organically about whatever is going on. So if you find something fishy being done by the first agent, then also you will be able to catch that first agent. So it is done by all the intelligence organizations. It's done by the CIA, it's done by Mossad, it's done by everybody, even ISI. And it is very well shown in this movie. Mostly we see this kind of a thing in Jason Bourne kind of movies. Even in Jason Bourne, he's shown to be, a rogue agent all the time. But this element I do not find very clearly discussed anywhere in any web series. Even this web series does not clearly mention that, this is in order to avoid moles in the organization. But you get an idea that both these agents are working in the same sphere of influence, and still they are themselves unaware of each other. Very good strategy, and that's why it is called Ranneeti, the strategy. Next slide is about Air Marshal substance. Yeah, this also you might not be aware of. So why was Air Marshal absent? What about his absence? Air Marshal was nearing his retirement. During those days, our Air Marshal means the man who controls Air Force of India. Okay, Air Marshal posed to be in his farewell party, while in reality he was supervising the airstrikes. Okay, so in reality he was in the war room. Okay, but just so that Pakistanis didn't get a smell of this, we normally showcased using media propaganda, using this Lara Datta, the media advisor of India. We posted his pictures a little late, and we posted them so strategically that Pakistan started feeling that, yeah, this guy has just entered into his farewell party. And at that time, he was in the war room and airstrikes were being conducted. For this, we delayed the posting of his pics. Okay, the pics were already taken, and then he left that place. He went into the war room, and then pictures were shared later after that. Okay, he even posed. He even posted a pic. We even posted a pic and then deleted it. So there is a dialogue in this Ranneeti web series by Lara Datta. She says कि चीख कर बताए हुए झूठ से ज्यादा इफेक्ट विस्पर से बोला हुआ झूठ का होता है. वो विस्पर वाला झूठ ज्यादा फैलता है. Okay, so if you whisper into the ear of somebody, and even if it is a false thing, and somebody else, a third party, listens to that whisper, then that third party will believe in it. vis-a-vis when you shout out to somebody and you tell everything in the open. At that time, probably people won't believe you. People would think that you're spreading a propaganda. But if you whisper to somebody and the third person listens, then the third person immediately agrees or believes into whatever you're saying. So that strategy, that Ranneeti, was also followed. So it was a bait for them to make it more believable. And then our air marshal also accepted an invitation of a French delegation, indicating that he would be in Paris, France the next day. So there is a farewell party at the night. Of course, they'll be drinking, and then he'll be at France the next day. So who can imagine that around 3 a.m. in the morning that night, this air marshal will be in the war room and there'll be an airstrike. So no one would imagine that. No one from Pakistan would imagine that. And that's why all this farce was set up for them, all this trap was set for fooling ISI. On the night of the airstrike, the weather was bad. Yeah, this was another thing which was shown in this web series, that the weather was bad. Pakistan would never expect an airstrike during that weather. But still, we went ahead. We said, "Aisa mauka to chhodna hi nahi hai." We prepared a lot for this. We will do it because, see, we had already prepared all this thing. The air marshal's farewell, this, that. We did not want to lose that opportunity, at least not for the weather, right? So probably God helped us, and nothing happened to our crafts, and we could conduct this particular airstrike, even in spite of bad weather. Next thing that I wanted to highlight about is how these airstrikes were conducted on Balakot. So this was also very well shown in the web series. Everything that I'm showing is as per the web series. All of these things are shown in the web series. Can you imagine so much of detail being put into any web series or any movie of India? This is very well done in this web series. We continued our aircraft, Indian Air Force drills near Bahawalpur. We kept on scaring Pakistanis with an airstrike on Bahawalpur. We just kept threatening them, only to keep Pakistan under the impression that we don't know that the JM camp has already shifted from Bahawalpur to Balakot. So they were feeling happy that, if we airstrike Bahawalpur, first of all, no terrorists will be killed. We would show that, see, there was no one over here, and the civilians might get killed, and then we would get the wave of sympathy in our favor. We'll say that, see, the real aggressive state is India. Okay, so this is what Pakistanis were feeling. They were feeling happy internally. Okay, but little did they know that we already knew that the JM camp has shifted to Balakot, and then we conducted the airstrikes on 26th of February. On the day of the airstrike, the Indian Air Force drill entered the Pakistani. On that night also, during that night also, we conducted the same drill. We went to the LOC, we would go back, right? But this time, we did not come back from the LOC. We crossed the border for the first time. We also had a bomber plane with us. Due to this, the Pakistanis really got scared. They said, "Ki bhaiya, Modi kuch to karega." For so many days, he was just, probably practicing it. Now is the time he is actually going to do that. So then they sent all their jets. All their jets were airborne. Okay, and that is when all their jets were at Bahawalpur, right? And then we sent another set of jets through Uttarakhand. We mid-air fueling was also done. Refueling should be the word. Mid-air refueling was conducted, and then these planes were used to strike Balakot. Okay, so since they took a longer route through Uttarakhand and everything, they would never expect. Uttarakhand is much on the Chinese side, much on the eastern side. They would not expect that a jet movement is there in Uttarakhand. That means they are going to attack Pakistan. They would think that there is movement around Bahawalpur. They have entered the LOC, so they are definitely going to attack there. So they sent all their jets at Bahawalpur, and we attacked them at Balakot. So all this Ranneeti is very well shown in this particular web series. Mid-air refueling was also very nicely shown. If you have seen the movie Stealth, Hollywood movie Stealth, in that movie mid-air refueling was shown. I at least saw that for the first time in Stealth movie. Same kind of a mid-air refueling was shown by an Indian web series. Of course, India does that, but India never shows it so much in the Bollywood or in our web series. It is shown in this particular web series, so it's a must watch. And of course, the use of AWACS. What is AWAC? AWAC is aerial warning, something like that. So basically, it is like a mothership. It is that big Boeing, biggest aeroplane that Boeing makes, right? And on top of it, there is a big circular radar, right? So this is for aerial intelligence. You know about whatever is happening in a certain radius using an AWAC. All your aircraft speak to the AWAC. Okay, of course, on a encrypted channel, on a secure channel, but they speak to AWAC. They are in constant touch. All the instructions given are given from AWAC to the pilots, and pilots also speak to the AWAC. So AWAC is aware. Even if that aircraft is destroyed, then also the record is there with AWAC that what was going on in this aircraft at the time of crash. So that role of AWAC is also very well shown, and that AWAC was also used for refueling, mid-air refueling. So that is also very well shown in this particular web series. So must watch. Another detail that I want to discuss is Pak counterattacks. Pakistan did not stay silent. Today's Pakistan might be different, but at that time, Pakistan was very aggressive. So they also did not stay silent. Pakistan could not acknowledge that there was a terrorist camp in Pakistan, so they refused the airstrike news. First of all, Pakistan refused that airstrike ever happened. After that, Pakistan sent F-16 planes in India, within Indian borders. Okay, they strategized it, and they wanted to target Naushera and Poonch also. By the way, I haven't mentioned Poonch, but Naushera, mainly Naushera, because Naushera is the biggest armament depot of India in that particular region. So all this is the region in Jammu and Kashmir, besides the line of control. See, Pak occupied Kashmir is a little stripe towards the left, and then a huge chunk of landmass at the top. So that little stripe is there. Now that stripe is Pak occupied Kashmir, and just besides that stripe, whatever cities are there, they are like Uri from the top, then Poonch comes, and towards the bottom there is Naushera. So all these areas, mostly all these terrorist activities are performed in these parts. Okay, so Naushera is our biggest armament depot. So if there is any fight that breaks out, then we needed an armament depot. Depot means place where we keep all our armaments. We needed it as close to the border as possible, and we chose Naushera for that. And these Pakistani fuckers wanted to target that particular Naushera depot, and that's why they sent two F-16s. So the way they did is, uh, they sent a lot of jets, lot of F-16s, but they were all going, across the LOC without crossing the LOC. Okay, they were going across the LOC. I mean, alongside the LOC, they were going. Sorry, not across, alongside the LOC. So we could not attack them. But then two of these jets were diverted, and they crossed the LOC, and they were approaching Naushera. Now we had to stop them, and this was done very strategically during that period, which is for refueling. Okay, so Sukhoi 30 is our air superiority fighter. So whenever Sukhois are there in the air, we have the air superiority. None of the jets from Pakistan can ever, counter us. We have the air superiority. But these air superiority Sukhois had to be refueled periodically. So what we used to do is, two Sukhois would patrol. During that time, our borders are safe, our airspace is safe. Okay, then they would have to refuel. So for refueling, they would, come down to the base, that is called as RTB, that is return to base, and after 10 minutes they would fly back. Okay, so that time of, when those 10 minutes, that 10 minutes window is sufficient for an attack, and that is the window that these F-16 took advantage of, and they came into our border, and they were about to, bomb Naushera. We came to know their intentions. At that time, we did not have any plane to safeguard Mother India, and that's why F-21 was sent. So many people, especially Congressy people, AAP kind of people, they alleged Modi Sarkar of not giving good quality planes to our air force. They said that why was Abhinandan said in F-21? It's a 50-year-old jet. Why don't you buy new jets? And when Modi Sarkar bought new jets at that time also they said नहीं Rafale सौदे में घोटाला हुआ है. So you don't let us buy new planes also, and then you say this also that why was F-20 why was MiG-21 used against an F-16? Why was it used? It was not used by choice. We did not have any other plane at that time at our discourse. And 10 minutes, how can you refill the airspace with Sukhois within 10 minutes? It's not possible. So by the time Sukhoi would come, we needed to safeguard our skies for that 10 minutes. And that's why Abhinandan and one more pilot was sent in MiG-21 Bisons. Okay, of course, these are the planes of the 60s. So they are 50 years old. They were 50 years old at that time, and of course, we also never wanted to send M21, but we had no choice. So why was M21 used against F-16? So two F-16s broke up from the Pakistan Air Force flock, and they entered the Indian airspace. We now had sufficient reason to engage them, so we could not engage with them as long as they were only flying alongside the LOC but not crossing the LOC. Okay, so we did not have a reason to attack them, but when two of them diverted from that flock and they crossed the LOC, at that time we had sufficient reason to engage them. We targeted them with Sukhois only in the beginning. The two Sukhois who were about to refuel, right? Their fuel was less. We tried to combat them with them only. And Pakistan Air Force thought that, okay, our F-16s have a lot of fuel, so we'll be able to do a lot of maneuvers as compared to S-30s of India. But our S-30s were still heavier on them. हम उनके ऊपर उस समय भी भारी थे. That was also shown in this web series very well. But then they had to return to the base. So RTB had to be performed for both of them because they were very low on the fuel. So you cannot do this that, okay, let it fly till the end and then it will drop down somewhere. No, it will drop down somewhere. It will kill somebody, right? Or even that plane is very costly, by the way. So you should bring it back to the base when the fuel is really ending. So at that time, the two F-16s were now moving towards Naushera. It is our biggest armament depot in that region. We didn't have any S-30 for the next 10 minutes due to the refueling window, and that is why we had to send two MiG-21 Bisons, and one of them was piloted by Mr. Abhinandan. Okay, this is the whole story. If you don't know about this history, I have put a separate slide just to tell you this, and this is very well given in this particular web series. So see this web series very carefully. There are a lot of nuances in this web series. You will see the history as it really happened. And as the media probably did not focus so much upon this, why was M21 used? Why was MiG-21 used? Probably media did not do justice to this, but this web series definitely did a justice to this. Then I'll tell you about how MiG-21s overweighted F-16. देखो सुखोई F-16 पे भारी पड़ रहे थे, that was okay. They are equals. But M21, a 50 years old technology, it was overweighing F-16. How did this happen? This happened because of all these reasons, and they are very well given in the web series. Two F-16s were locking missiles on our MiG-21 Bisons. Of course, F-16s, previously they tried to lock missiles upon our Bisons. Our M21 stopped their radar and went too low in the altitude. Means they reduced their altitude. They went a little deeper. See, radar actually sends waves in the air and then they reflect from an aircraft and return. Right? This is the working of a radar. So if you go very low, the radar waves will get reflected through the mountains. You are in the valley. in between two mountains, so radar waves won't even reach you, and that's why radar won't be able to see you on their oscillators. Okay, radar won't be able to see you. This is the technology, this is the technique that is M21 Bisons used, and this is very well shown in this Ranneeti web series. Okay, and that's why they were not visible to the F-16. Now F-16s, and yeah, of course, you have to stop your own radar also. Why? Because if you are emitting signals, those signals are also getting received by the receivers of Pakistan. Pakistan's radar is also being received by, okay. So we know their position, they know our position all the time. Okay, especially during a dogfight. Now, when we go low, and suppose we keep our radar active, their planes are at the top, right? They will anyways be able to see receive the radar signals of our plane, right? So their plane will be aware now where our plane is. So we had to take down our radar also. We had to shut down our radar also, onboard radar, which is there in MiG-21 planes. So both the MiG-21 planes shut down their radar, but still we were in connection with the AWAC. That means the mothership, that means the big Boeing ship which is used for refueling as well as for intelligence input. It has that big radar at the top, circular radar, right? That is called as an AWAC. AWAC means oh, I did not give a long form, but it is something aerial warning active system, something like that it is. So it is for the aerial intelligence within a certain sphere of influence. So especially during a dogfight, this is very important. So our if we were in our own airspace, Abhinandan and his fellow pilot also, they had conducted such operations, such drills, not operations but drills, in the Indian territory many times. So they knew it like the back of their hand. Okay, and that's why uh, Abhinandan could move through those valleys using the directions of AWAC. So AWAC would tell, okay, this is what you see. Okay, you must be over here. So you turn left, turn right, sharp left, sharp right, something like that. Just like you are not seeing GPS on the screen. Suppose you are driving, you are not seeing Google Maps on your screen, but you are hearing to whatever Google Maps lady is saying, and accordingly you drive. That is a kind of driving or flying that Abhinandan and his fellow pilot did. So there were two MiG-21 Bisons who did this kind of a flying. And that's why there is a dialogue in this web series where Ajit Doval says to Lara Datta, the media advisor, that आज हमारे पायलट्स का ट्रेनिंग पाकिस्तानी एयरफोर्स के ऊपर भारी पड़ रहा है. Okay, it is very much true. Our training was so nice. They knew these valleys like the back of their hand, and that's why they could traverse so nicely just by voice inputs, just by voice signals. Whatever Avak is saying, just by listening to it, Abhinandan could understand where my plane must be, and he could go left, right, whatever. He did it very well. Even his fellow pilot also in the other MiG-21 also did this very well. So kudos to our Air Force for doing this. And that's why MiG-21s overweighed F-16, because F-16 could not see MiG-21s only because they were so much lower in the altitude, and their radars were also off, so they could not see anything on the radar. They could not see it visually also, because seeing and spotting an aircraft visually is next to impossible, because they move at such high speeds. Okay, so that was anyways impossible, but they were anyways moving so low to so close to the ground that they were mostly within the valleys, and it was very difficult to spot them over there. And that's the reason why F-16s were overweighed by MiG-21s. Next thing that I'd like to focus upon is why Abhinandan crossed the LOC. Why did Abhinandan cross the LOC? Did Indian Air Force tell him to cross the LOC? No. India never crosses the LOC unless there is an operation. Okay, so airstrike was our operation, but here when Abhinandan ji crossed the LOC, this was not our operation. We did it by mistake. I'll tell you why. And this is very well shown in the Ranneeti web series. Pak called back both the F-16s, fearing that if India shoots them down, then India would have an evidence that Pakistan uses F-16 against us. So they did not want this F-16 to be shot down and especially not in Indian territory where India could show this to the world press. And then see, Pakistan received F-16 from America, and there was a defense agreement that was done between America and Pakistan. F-16 was meant to tackle terrorist activities in Afghanistan. It was not meant to tackle India. So Pakistan cannot use F-16 legally against India. But Pakistan never follows the rules. So Pakistan used F-16 against us to threaten us. And what can India do? India has to resist this kind of neighbors. But if we would be able to take down an F-16, then we would have an evidence within our territory. We would bring all, the world press, we would bring to that spot, and we'll say that, see, this is what Pakistan really is. Their military contract with US was that they would not be using F-16 against us, and see, they have brought a F-16 within our borders, they attacked us and we took it down. So Pakistan did not want this to happen. This would be a fiasco for them. And that's why Ashutosh Rana immediately tells the air marshal over there of Pakistan that, bring back those jets. If they are shot down, then we will, all our hum benaqab ho jayenge, we will get uncovered in front of the world. So F-16s had to return. Now F-16s were heavy because they were about to bomb, so there was warhead attached to them, right? So due to that, they were heavy. They could not maneuver so much. Okay, and this was also the reason why our MiG-21 was overweighing their F-16. So they dropped those warheads in open fields. Why open fields? Because they did not want to kill anyone so as to cause a casualty. If casualty is caused, then India would raise it to a great extent. Okay, so they did not want to displease India. So they are in a war, they still don't want to displease India. They dropped it in open fields, they did not kill anyone, and they returned to Pakistan to save their lives. There's a dialogue also, Jimmy Shergill says कि अपनी जान बचाकर भाग रहे हैं. MiG-21s still kept chasing them. So F-16s applied jammers to cut their communications. What is a jammer? Jammer means whatever communication is happening, mostly it is a radio communication. So this radio communication is jammed. So when there is a jammer installed, even Pakistanis won't be able to speak to their AWAC if there is any, or their headquarters on the ground. And Indians also won't be able to speak to their AWAC, that is their mothership, or their ground headquarters. Okay, so then you have to fly on your own. Okay, you don't have any communication. So those jammers were installed, or jammers were activated by F-16 pilots. And that is why MiG-21s lost the communication with AWAC. So AWAC could not tell them that now you are approaching the LOC, please stop here, return. They kept saying, but those voices did not reach both the pilots. It reached one of the pilots and he returned. But these voices from AWAC did not reach Abhinandan. And that's why Abhinandan continued his pursuit. And in that pursuit, he crossed the LOC. So it was a unintended thing. We did not intend to cross the LOC. But since the communication was lost, Abhinandan never knew that he was actually crossing the LOC. And during this, what happened is, the Indian mothership instructed both the M21s to return to the base. One of the pilots copied, but Abhinandan, copied means copy that. Copy that means I got whatever you said. I listened and understood whatever you said. So for saying this, instead of saying I listened and understood whatever you said, instead of this, normally in military terms, people say copy that. Okay, so one of the pilots copied, means listened and understood to this instruction, and so he returned to the base. But the other pilot, that means Abhinandan, could not hear it due to the F-16 jammers, and that's why he unknowingly crossed the LOC. It was an unknowing thing, we did not do it on purpose. Now the next point that I would like to focus upon is, one F-16 and one MiG-21 were shot down. See, in this media warfare, Pakistan kept on saying that only we never sent F-16, so there is no question of F-16 getting crashed. But in reality, Abhinandan ji killed or shot down one F-16, and in the process his MiG-21 Bison was also shot down. So there were two casualties, one on the side of Pakistan and another on the side of India. Casualties means planes got crashed. People did not die, but planes got crashed. So Abhinandan shot down an F-16 in the Pak airspace. So that was casualty number one. His space was also shot down by Pakistani aircrafts within the Pakistani airspace. Or probably even if it is not an aircraft, there must be SAM deployments over there, due to which Abhinandan's plane must have been shot down. So this was the second casualty, means the planes got destroyed. Both the Indian as well as the Pakistani pilots ejected in Pakistani airspace, that means in Pakistan border, within Pakistan's territory. Okay, both of them were beaten up by the local public, because local public did not know that who is Pakistani, who is Indian. They thought both of them are Indians only. So they were beaten up by both of them. Pakistan disowned their own pilot, calling him Indian. Why? Because if Pakistan would have said that this is our pilot, first of all, they also didn't know. First of all, what kind of a country it is. They did not even understand that it is their own pilot. They thought this guy is being beaten up by the local public, so he must be Indian. Okay, and they thought, अरे यार मोदी जी का कोई भरोसा नहीं, कितने लोगों को भेज दिया हमारे कंट्री में. Okay, and they must have thought that yeah, there was another pilot. They did not know that this was not their pilot. They did not know this until we started saying that, see, we lost only one pilot, and the other pilot had returned to the base. So this pilot should be somebody else's pilot, must be Pakistani pilot only. That is when the bells rang, and that is when Pakistani came to know, yeah, he was our guy. And besides, they disowned, I mean, even after that, they disowned this guy, because they did not want to show that our F-16, we used F-16 against India, and secondly, F-16 is getting attacked by a MiG-21, and MiG-21 can take it down. They did not want to acknowledge both these things, and that's why they disowned their own pilot, which was beaten up by their people, and he was taken into custody and all. So he was beaten up very badly, because unfortunately, now look at the training of Pakistani Air Force pilots. Whenever you eject and there is a parachute deployed, you normally, you land the parachute like this, and then you keep running. It is so that that parachute does not fall on top of your head, right? But this pilot, as luck might have it, he was covered by that parachute, and people beated him up from within the parachute. Means parachute was there, and on top of it, people were beating him. So people could not even see the insignia. People could not even understand that he was one of their own, and that's why he got a lot of beating. And consequently, this pilot died also due to all that beating, but he died in the hospital. Pakistan says two Indian planes crossed the LOC, and they shot down both the planes. So the F-16 also, they said it is Indian plane only which got shot down. And they claim that both the Indian pilots are in their custody. Whereas in reality, Abhinandan was our pilot, that's correct. But the other pilot belonged to Pakistan only. And they disowned their own pilot, and they said, he's not our citizen here. He's your pilot only. Look at the kind of people Pakistanis are. Now, Pakistan's lies. So Pakistan lied us in two things. First, Pakistan lied about the airstrike, that airstrike never took place. Second, they lied about the use of F-16. They said we never used F-16. So in the first lies, they said airstrikes never killed anyone. This was to hide the fact that they were running the terrorist camps on Pakistani soil. Myanmar also did the same thing, right? They never acknowledged that they are running terrorist camps on their soil. So that's why they refuted the Indian claim of airstrikes. And then how did they lie about F-16? They said that they never conducted any offensive operation against India, and especially not using F-16. Why would we do that? In fact, you came in within our borders, they said. They also denied that F-16 was shot down by a MiG-21. They said Both the planes which crashed were Indian. In this process, they disowned their own pilot. They pressurized Abhinandan also to change his story of shooting F-16. So they even released a press release uh, I mean, Abhinandan was shot, and means Abhinandan was uh, they did a video clipping of Abhinandan, and they tried to say it through Abhinandan that I'm being treated well, and there was no F-16, and I did not fire any or shoot down any F-16. That kind of a clipping also came in the media, right? Abhinandan never agreed to it completely, but he had to say whatever they was asking him to say at that time. He was an intelligent, uh, you know, Air Force person, so personnel, so he was a good person, so he had to do that because he was in their capture. So that clip was also released. So this is the kind of lies that Pakistanis put in front of the world. These are the two lies. Now I'll tell you why Pakistan made Abhinandan famous. So Abhinandan, no one knew about Abhinandan at that time, especially not by the name. But then Abhinandan became famous after that clipping came. When Pakistanis released that clipping of Abhinandan, uh, saying that, I'm being treated well and everything. So Pakistan wanted to divert the attention from the second pilot, that is a Pakistani pilot, which Pakistan calls as an Indian pilot. It was very easy for Indians to debunk this lies. It was very easy for us to debunk this. We just had to say that, we have these many cadets. And actually, at that time, Air Force even said this. Indian Air Force even said this in the media that, the second pilot is at his home, he is safe and sound. So, what is the Pakistan talking about? Which other pilot do they have? We understand that they have Abhinandan. We agree to it. But other than that, the other pilot is at his home. He is very well within the Indian borders. So that must be Pakistani pilot. And media was getting, I mean, this news was getting traction in the media, and Pakistan wanted to divert the attention of public from that news. And that's why they diverted the attention towards Abhinandan. So they released a clip of Abhinandan, and they tried to show these two things about Abhinandan. That Abhinandan was an intruder. He came within our borders without without any provocation. He himself came, or India sent their pilots into their border, and yet Pakistan treated him very well. See the clip. Abhinandan himself is saying that I am being treated well in Pakistan. So they tried to create a sympathy towards them, and they also tried to create a wave against Modi government. That why is Modi using such age-old antique fighter jets like MiG-21s? Okay. So interesting fact is that India didn't even know that Abhinandan had shot down F-16 before he returned to India. So after Abhinandan returned to India, that is when Abhinandan told Indians that, I had shot down their F-16. You are not even talking about it. That is when Indians started talking about it. That, MiG-21 could be used by Abhinandan to shoot down F-16. So that means we showed it in good light. We showed it like, look at the training of our pilots, that our pilots could do this. Now, another fact shown in this web series that I'll discuss upon in this particular slide is how India pressurized Pakistan for releasing Abhinandan. This is also shown very well in this web series. Media campaign in favor of Abhinandan was used. Pakistan wanted to show Abhinandan as an intruder, and Pakistan wanted to show that, see, look at our kind heartedness, we are treating him well. So he is a bechara, we can do anything with him, but we are still treating him well. We launched a counter media campaign. Lara Datta, shown in this web series, is the media advisor of Indian government. She launches a media campaign to show that this Abhinandan is actually a brave heart who saved his motherland from an aggression from Pakistan. So the real aggressor is the Pakistan, and it gained momentum that, a brave heart is in the capture of Pakistan. It gained momentum not only in India but also abroad. including Pakistan and many other Muslim countries. So this is how a sympathy wave was created in favor of Abhinandan, not only in India but also in Muslim countries like Pakistan. Then we pressure. This was one technique. One is media campaign technique. Another technique that we used to force Pakistan to release Abhinandan is by pressurizing China. So we posed as if we were going to attack CPEC to pressurize Pakistan into releasing our pilot. So we tried to advance our troops near Gwadar port and everything like that. So we tried to pose as if we are just going to attack the CPEC facilities. So Chinese people got frightened. Chinese people are all after money. They are business people. Okay, they are not fighters in reality. So even I don't remember their war technique, but somebody who wrote that war doctrine of China, and which is used nowadays in the war doctrine, is that the best war is the war which you don't have to fight. This is what Chinese people believe in. So Chinese people will always have pseudo wars. They won't actually send their military. They will have economic warfare. They will spread drugs in America. Okay, they will spread drugs in European countries. Okay, means Five Eye countries, WASP countries. They will try to spread drugs or Maoism in India, or they will counterfeit our currency, or they will send their Chinese apps or Chinese companies to take over the Indian market. They will do it economically or using drugs, using all those kind of things, but they will not send their own military because, as per their war doctrine, the best war is the war that is not fought only. Okay, you should not be required to fight a war. That is the best war fought. That is the best war strategy. So that's what Chinese feel. And so CPEC is their, it's very close to their heart, right? It is extremely important to them because it will cut down the amount of time required for them to import oil from the Middle East. So it is very dear to them. So as soon as we posed as if we are going to attack Gwadar port, which is the entry point of CPEC, then the Chinese got frightened. Chinese said, whatever we only told you, that means the Chinese only had told Pakistanis about the 20 minutes window when these Sukhoi 30s of India were refueling. So Chinese said, "Arey, it was a mistake to tell you about that 10 minutes window. You actually went ahead and attacked them, and that's why they are attacking you back. And one of their men is under your custody. Release that guy, yaar. What's the problem? Release one person, at least save our CPEC. Otherwise, they are going to attack CPEC, and they could see the satellite movement from Chinese satellites. They could see, and we also did this very strategically. We knew where the Chinese satellite is, when will it be on top of that place to take the pictures. At that time, only we showed troop movements. There is a dialogue by Jimmy Shergill over here कि खाली ट्रक भी मूव किए तब भी चलेगा, लेकिन जब चीनी सैटेलाइट ऊपर होगा तब उन्हें दिखना चाहिए कि there is a troop movement. So we moved ahead our patent tanks. We moved ahead our supply chain, means whatever trucks are there, we moved them ahead so as to show to the Chinese that we are just about to attack. And that's why Chinese people felt frightened, and they got frightened and they pressurized Pakistan, and that's why Pakistan released Abhinandan within 60 hours of capture. This was a record time, I think. Kudos to Modi Sarkar. Otherwise, you see in Congress rule, Sarabjit Singh, that there was a movie also, Sarabjit, right? That Sarabjit guy stayed in the Pakistani jail for almost his entire life. Nothing happened. These Congress people could not do anything. And look at Modi Sarkar. Modi Sarkar could bring back Abhinandan within 60 hours. That is how muscular foreign policy works in favor of BJP or in favor of Modi ji. Please vote for Modi ji this time. Also, means always vote for this guy. Another minute thing that this web series speaks about is F-16 and the American involvement. Yeah, this thing also, our media never talked about it. That, or even if they talked, they did not talk sufficiently about it. And it is very well shown in this particular web series. See, US did not want to look weak, as F-16 is their air superiority fighter. It is similar to Sukhoi 30. Okay, it is a little weak, but still it is An air superiority fighter that US wants to sell, or US company Lockheed Martin wants to sell, especially to the Middle East and all the other countries. Uh, and it is being taken down by a 50 years old MiG 21 Bison. That was like unka naak kat gaya tha. It was a matter of shame for Lockheed Martin company, and that's why Lockheed Martin was actively involved into sabotaging the actual story of Abhinandan and making him look like a liar. And we did not like it at all. You're making our Indian force, decorated Indian force personnel, as a liar in front of the entire world. You're calling India a liar. We did not like it at all. At that time, it was Trump in the White House, and that's why Trump helped us a bit. But Lockheed Martin company went to all the bounds, they crossed all the boundaries to make Abhinandan look like a liar. So US wanted to suppress the news about shooting down F-16. By US, I mean mainly Lockheed Martin. So US also never confronted Pakistan of using F-16 against India, because the US government, even though it was Trump, US government did not want to look bad in this situation, because F-16 or Lockheed Martin, they are the symbols of defense manufacturing of US. And if that company is tainted, it's basically like raising a flag, raising a doubt on the American flag, on the American manufacturing. And there is a dialogue in this web series also where that Lockheed Martin person says to the Pentagon person that, if questions are raised on Lockheed Martin, then these are questions on the American manufacturing. It is like questioning the flag of America, and he points to the flag of America. And that's why America also, then of course the Lockheed Martin, forces, the American company Lockheed Martin, along with Pakistan, planted a false story using an American journalist. So an American journalist goes to Pakistan. She says that, okay, I have seen all the F-16s are there in Pakistan. So what is India shouting about? They have not taken down any F-16. So this is like calling Abhinandan a liar. This is what that American journalist did. But in this web series, it was shown that the American journalist was pressurized. She was bribed with a bag full of American currency and also a gun put on top of it to threaten her that, see, either you take this and go out of Pakistan, otherwise you get killed in Pakistan only. You won't escape Pakistan alive. So that it was shown in this web series that she got pressurized, and that's why she succumbed to this pressure. But she was also not shown to be a very goody good person. She succumbed to it. She asked Lockheed Martin person that what will happen to me if this comes out in the media sometime, that I was bribed and this is a false story. Then he assures her that as long as you stick to our agenda, you will be taken care of. That means we will put our weight behind you. And she knows that Lockheed Martin is a great company, is a big company, not great, but it's a big company, powerful company. And even the American government listens to it to a great extent. America would even go to an extent of waging a war over another country to make Lockheed Martin sell weapons to American military. So they are so hand in gloves with all this. So that American journalist feels that, okay, then let me stay on the side of Lockheed Martin, because finally I'm an American. I have to go back to America only. Okay, so this Lockheed Martin won't let me stay in peace if I favor India. Even for truth, if I speak out the truth, then probably they won't favor me. And that's why she stayed in the team of Lockheed Martin, and she tried to show as if Abhinandan was lying. So this is how it is. Later, due to India's pressure, U.S. Pentagon distanced itself from this news article. It should be news article by the American journalist. Okay, so this was because Donald Trump was in the power at that time. Had it been Joe Biden, then it would be extremely difficult for us to do this. Okay, so that is how F-16 and American involvement is shown in this particular web series. Next topic is FATF grey listing of Pakistan. This is also very well covered in this web series, especially in the last two episodes of the web series. So FATF means what? Financial Action Task Force. So it is a, a task force, means it is basically an organization that is created in order to tackle money laundering, terrorist, and proliferation financing. That means if a country is spending its money for money laundering, that means black का white करना, that is called as money laundering. Laundering means laundry वाला जैसा कपड़े धोता है वैसे black money को धोकर सफेद करना, that is called money laundering. So if a country is involved in money laundering, or if a country is involved in terrorist activities, or if a country is involved in proliferation means what? Nuclear proliferation means involved in increasing nuclear armaments, getting involved in the nuclear armed race. You must be aware that Pakistan, India, both of them have nuclear weapons, but none of us are increasing our nuclear weapons. We created a stockpile, but we are not increasing that stockpile, because if we increase it, then we will come on the radar of organizations like FATF, which keep a close eye on countries which are proliferating, means spreading nuclear armaments, increasing their nuclear armaments. Okay, so we also don't increase our stockpile. You must be amazed that today the highest nuclear stockpile is with Russia. Even US does not have so much of stockpile. US has a bigger military budget than Russia, but US does not spend it in increasing the nuclear stockpile. Why? Because then US would also come under the radar of organizations like FATF. But then, of course, US has a lot of authority upon such organizations like FATF, and FATF also functions very closely with World Bank and this IMF, International Monetary Fund, and both these organizations also have a lot of American backing, a lot of influence from America. So FATF and World Bank and this IMF are all in a way controlled by America or the WASP countries. Okay, WASP countries means White Anglo-Saxon. P means what? Protestant countries. Okay, so all the white Protestant Christian countries, like the Five Eye countries in short, means America, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and UK. All of them are called as WASP countries. So these WASP countries have a lot of control upon FATF, IMF, and World Bank. But at that time in the White House, there was Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has said before his elections that if I got elected, then the Indians will have a friend in the White House, and he lived up to his promise. He actually helped us in convincing FATF that Pakistan is actually a terroristan. FATF should take some action upon this terroristan, and as long as he stayed in the power, Pakistan was in the FATF grey list. But then he lost his power. Then Joe Biden came, and after that, Joe Biden or any other American president will always have a great amount of impact on FATF. So immediately, the first thing that FATF did is release Pakistan from their grey list. But yeah, Donald Trump was indeed our friend, a strategic friend, you can say. He was friend at most of the times, but he was also, with America first. So certain things were against India also, but we were also strategic friends only. Modi ji also used to say at that time that in Ranneeti, that means in politics, there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Okay, so everything should be strategized. It should be as per whatever is good for your country. So that is how it was. In total, more than 200 countries and jurisdictions. So 200 means all 200 are not countries. Actually, the total number of countries all over the world is around 200. So all those countries are not signatories of FATF, but they are saying 200 entities. Either they can be countries or jurisdictions. By jurisdiction, you mean that suppose, like Taliban. Taliban when America was there, Taliban could be one jurisdiction. It used to control some part of Afghanistan, and then America and actually its puppet government, the democratic government that was there in Afghanistan at that time, that was also controlling Afghanistan. So then Taliban is what? Taliban is a jurisdiction. It is not a country. Okay, so this way they are saying that countries and jurisdictions have committed, means 200 of them have committed to implementing FATF standards as part of a coordinated global response to preventing organized crime, that means money laundering, corruption, terrorism. Okay, corruption means again money laundering, terrorism, and then nuclear proliferation also. Pakistan was grey listed in FATF from June 2018 till October 2022, a period approximately of 4 years. So for 4 years, Pakistan stayed into grey list. So that's it for this particular video. If you liked it, do share it with your friends, do subscribe to the channel, and also please leave your comments. I always answer to the first 100 comments in each of my videos, and also the video description will always have an index and the study material. Index, so that you want to jump to any particular topic discussed in this video, then just hit the timestamp ahead of it. You will go to that time of the video where I am discussing that particular topic. And another thing is that I'll always give the study material, means this PPT is present, it is given under study material title in the video description. So feel free to reuse it, but after acknowledging me. Always acknowledge that this is an intellectual property of Amit Shirasao. This PPT is my intellectual property, and then you can use it. Okay, so until next time, Jai Shri Ram. ये है अमित शिरासाव, अमित शिरासाव, अमित शिरासाव, अमित शिरासाव।